In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use Zoho Books as a complete beginner, step by step. We'll break everything down into simple, easy to follow steps so you can manage your business finances without getting overwhelmed. Here's what you can expect from this video. First, we'll set up our Zoho Books account and configure the essential business settings. Next, we'll connect a bank account and understand how automatic transaction tracking works. Then we'll create products and services, add customers, and build our first professional invoice. After that, we'll look at expenses, purchases, reports, and time tracking so you can understand how everything connects together. And finally, I'll show you a few useful features and settings that can save you a lot of time as your business grows. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. To get started, open your browser and head over to the Zoho Books website. From here, you can create a free account using your email address or simply sign in with your Google account if you want to speed things up a little. One thing I like about Zoho Books is that it offers a free plan for small businesses, so if you're just getting started, you can actually test almost everything before committing to a paid plan. Once you finish signing up, you'll land inside the Zoho Books dashboard. If this is your first time opening it, don't worry if it looks a little busy at first. That's completely normal. Most accounting software feels intimidating for the first 10 minutes, but once you understand where everything is, it becomes surprisingly manageable. On the left-hand side, you'll see the main navigation menu. This is basically where all your business activity is organized. You'll see sections like home, banking, sales, purchases, accountant, reports, and time tracking. Think of it this way. Sales is money coming into your business, purchases are money going out, and banking helps you connect everything together. Before creating invoices or tracking expenses, the first thing we should do is set up the business properly. So go down to Settings in the top right corner and open your organization profile. Here you can add your business name, upload your logo, choose your base currency, and enter your business details. Take a minute to do this carefully because these details will automatically appear on invoices, quotes, and other financial documents later on. It's one of those small setup steps that saves you from fixing things repeatedly afterward. While we're here, it's also a good idea to configure your taxes. Depending on your country, this could be GST, VAT, or sales tax. Zoho Books allows you to create custom tax rates, and once they're added, the software automatically applies them to invoices and transactions when needed. Honestly, this part alone can save a ridiculous amount of manual work later. Now, let's move over to the banking section because this is one of the most important parts of the entire setup. Instead of manually typing every transaction yourself, Zoho Books can connect directly with your bank account and automatically import transactions. Click on Connect Bank Account, and you'll see a list of supported banks and bank feed providers like Plaid or Yodlee, depending on your region. Once your bank is connected, Zoho Books starts pulling in transactions automatically. This makes reconciliation much easier later because your records inside Zoho Books can match the actual activity happening in your bank account. And trust me, manually entering every expense sounds manageable in the beginning until your business starts getting busy. Then suddenly you're scrolling through months of receipts at 1 a.m., wondering where your weekend disappeared. Now that our banking is connected, let's create something we can actually sell. Head over to the Items section and click New Item. Inside Zoho Books, items are basically your products or services. If you run a service business, you'll probably select service. If you sell physical products, you can choose goods instead. For this example, let's create a simple web design service. Add the item name, selling price, and then choose the income account where the revenue should be recorded. You'll also notice purchase information underneath. This is where you can track your own costs associated with delivering that service. Once everything looks good, click Save. Now we have something to invoice customers for. Speaking of customers, let's add one next. Go over to Sales and open the Customers section. Click New Customer and enter the customer details like their name, email, company name, phone number, and currency. One feature I really like here is the multi-currency support. So if you work with international clients, Zoho Books can automatically handle currency conversions for invoices. That saves a ton of confusion when working with overseas clients. Once the customer is added, we can finally create our first invoice. Head over to Invoices and click New Invoice. Select the customer we just created. Choose the item or service. and then set the quantity and pricing. You'll notice that Zoho Books automatically calculates totals, taxes, discounts, and currency conversions in real time. This is one of those moments where accounting software actually feels satisfying to use because you can literally watch everything calculate itself instantly. You can also add notes, payment terms, due dates, and even attach files if needed. Then, if you connected payment gateways like Stripe or PayPal earlier, your customer can pay directly through the invoice online. That's a huge advantage because the easier you make payments for clients, the faster you usually get paid. And honestly, nobody enjoys chasing invoices through email chains for 2 weeks straight. Once the invoice is ready, click Save and Send. Zoho Books generates a professional-looking invoice automatically, and you can email it directly from the platform. Now, let's quickly talk about quotes, because a lot of beginners confuse quotes and invoices. A quote is basically a proposal. It tells the customer how much something is going to cost before they actually agree to pay. Once the customer accepts the quote, you can convert it directly into an invoice with a single click. That workflow is incredibly useful because it keeps everything organized instead of creating separate documents manually every single time. Next, let's move into purchases. This section handles money going out of your business, so things like vendor payments, bills, and expenses all live here. You can create vendors the same way you created customers earlier. Then, when you receive a bill from a supplier, you can record it inside Zoho Books. There's also an expenses section where you can manually record smaller business expenses. For example, maybe you paid for software subscriptions, internet bills, travel costs, or office supplies. Now, technically, you can enter these manually, but if your bank feed is connected properly, many of these transactions will already appear automatically under banking. From there, you simply categorize them correctly during reconciliation. This is why bank connections are such a big deal inside accounting software. They dramatically reduce repetitive work. Now, let's briefly look at time tracking, because this feature is surprisingly useful for freelancers, agencies, and service businesses. Inside the time tracking section, you can create projects for clients and log hours worked on specific tasks. Then, those tracked hours can later be converted into invoices. So instead of estimating how much time you spent on a project, Zoho Books keeps an actual record for you. If you bill clients hourly, this feature becomes extremely valuable. And if you're someone who always says, "I'll remember how long this took," you probably already know how dangerous that sentence is. Moving on, let's check out reports. This is where Zoho Books starts becoming really powerful. You can generate reports like profit and loss, balance sheets, cash flow statements, expense reports, sales reports, and much more. These reports give you an actual snapshot of how your business is performing financially instead of just guessing based on your bank balance. A lot of small business owners avoid checking reports because accounting sounds intimidating. But honestly, even reviewing basic cash flow monthly can help you make much smarter decisions. You can also export reports as PDFs or spreadsheets and share them with your accountant, business partner, or team whenever needed. Now, before we finish, let me show you a couple of useful features that many beginners overlook. First, there's the customer portal feature. This allows clients to log in, view invoices, check payment history, and access documents themselves. It makes your business look much more professional while reducing unnecessary back and forth emails. Second, Zoho Books integrates with other Zoho apps like Zoho CRM, Zoho Inventory, and Zoho Projects. So, as your business grows, you can connect everything together into one ecosystem instead of juggling disconnected tools. And finally, spend some time exploring the automation and workflow settings. Zoho Books can automate payment reminders, recurring invoices, recurring expenses, and several repetitive tasks that normally eat up your time every week. At first, accounting software feels like something you have to deal with. But once the system is set up properly, it actually removes a huge amount of stress from running a business. And there you have it. That's a complete beginner-friendly walkthrough of Zoho Books. Hopefully now you have a much clearer understanding of how everything works together, from banking and invoices all the way to reports and automation. If you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more tutorials like this. And with that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.